It is.
I've been having the coolest experiences lately playing in physical reality where I'm observing what I believe is like a manifested form of a negative belief within myself, frequently in the form of other people. I maintain neutrality or actually get a little...
So you're acknowledging when you have attracted to you something that you don't want, but you recognize it has been active, and you're accepting that it must still be dominant because there's the proof of it.
Yeah.
Well said.
And it's actually exciting, or I get excited because I realize I can maintain a neutrality of emotion or actually see that reflection.
Because I recognize that I'm doing it, and now I can do something deliberately to shift that vibrational point of attraction into something I want.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the moment when it's happening, and it's most frequently come in the form of people demanding that I explain, demanding that I defend, demanding that I justify certain actions or perspectives. And I maintain neutrality and generally silence, but sometimes they'll go on for 10 or 15 minutes demanding, and
Here's something that you can do to shorten it. Just know this inside yourself. Know it so well that it's just vibrationally oozing from you. You may not even have to say the words, and it wouldn't matter if you did because they couldn't hear them anyway. But this is the reason that they're demanding explanation from you. Their bandwidth is different from yours. And by bandwidth, we mean the combination of where you are in this spectrum of vibration that includes your desires and your beliefs. The desires that you hold and the beliefs that you hold, that you practice all day, every day, have you in this sort of bandwidth that has upper and lower vibrational frequencies in it. That's because of your beliefs. That's your practice thoughts. A thought you continue to think, that's what a belief is. And that's what your vibrational bandwidth is. And that's what your right here, right now in this moment, point of attraction is. So if you're engaged in a conversation with someone who might be your superior in terms of the hierarchy of your work or whatever, and they want to use their words to convey, their words are useless, and so are yours, because it's like you've got your radio dial on an FM station and they're on AM station. The discord in vibration is so much. And over time, you've come to realize, and it's why you're stubborn and really like it, you've come to realize the futility in trying to explain yourself because they can't hear you anyway. But what you're going to notice is, as you look for ways to keep your frequency, your point of attraction, on what you want, not on what you're getting, you'll attract less and less of that. The only reason you're getting that bleed through, that's a good way to describe it, isn't it? In the old days, Ester remembers, she lived up in the mountains and she didn't have very good radio signal at all. She'd get her station just set, and often something would bleed through because she didn't really have a strong enough transmitter or signal, and so there was bleed through. That's what happens. Because of your attention to what is that you don't like, you're getting the bleed through from them. The law of attraction never makes a mistake. So if you're getting it, it's because it's present in your frequency. So your work isn't to change them or explain to them or make them understand. Your work is to get your signal so clean and so clear that you can't get from them that crap that you don't want from them. It's really magnificent. You catch them on a better day, or they get replaced by someone more on your wavelength, or you zig and zag. They hit traffic on the way to work. You don't. In other words, all kinds of things happen. The law of attraction is giving you what you've got going on. And so, you know what you just said to us? It's brilliant. It's the thing that we say to you all of the time and we really want you to hear. Most people offer most of their words and spend most of their time trying to take action or vocabulary to compensate what they're not doing with their vibration. It's exhausting, isn't it? To try to fix it. Don't fix it like that. Fix it by looking for easy existing matches. Things about that person that you do appreciate. Things about your work environment that you do appreciate. Because there's plenty to appreciate. And as you hone in on the things that your inner being knows about that person, and you make it a steady part of your bandwidth, you'll start getting along with people you never thought you could get along with. And if they're not get alongable withable, and the only reason they're tracking with you is because you're adjusting your vibration to the part of them that you don't like, which is causing them to stick to you like glue.
In the moment, if my emotional state is neutral to positive, I mean, I always just stay quiet, but would the most effective strategy
Before you go further, we really want to hear what you're saying, so can you hold that thought?
Yeah.
Would you tell us what neutral feels like? Because we're talking about this range of emotions, and what is neutral?
It's pretty much bored or like devoid of any emotion. It's kind of like watching a boring TV show where you're just
but
like...
the question that we're asking you is it bored as in satisfied or contented? Or is it not admitting how I really feel? Because there's a big difference there. In other words, is it tuning out? Is it just covering up? Is it putting a happy face sticker over the gas gauge on the car because you don't want to know you need gas? Because neutral doesn't stay neutral. If it really is neutral, if it really has no resistance in it, it moves right on up the emotional scale really fast. Momentum happens fast. And the fact that you're giving it a name like neutral, you're sort of holding whatever that is that you mean by neutral to you, and it's not serving you.
Is there any method you would recommend for accurately assessing and knowing our emotions better?
Just playing with them. The game that we've been offering recently, and it's really a good one, is finding yourself like you just described yourself to be. That was so good, that long soliloquy that you gave at the beginning of this. Can you just give it to us briefly again? You find yourself in a position with somebody else, and it's because of the people that you are. And what were your wonderful words there? Doesn't matter. We might have gone so far that you can't find them now. But what we're getting at here is that as you find yourself feeling some of that recognition that there's some bleed over, and that someone's asking you to defend something that you just don't feel like defending because you know that it's not really possible for them to hear you anyway. That place. Stop and try to define a thought about this if you can. If you can't do it in the moment, which sometimes you can't, life's moving fast. When you get by yourself on a break or at lunch or at night, recall it and then focus it into your awareness, just like you just did with us. And then deliberately think a thought, like a solution or a thought or a method, or just think about it and ask yourself, does this feel a little better or a little worse? Does this feel a little better or a little worse? Does this feel a little better or a little worse? For a while it'll feel a little worse because you're just remembering how stupid it is. In other words, all the things that you feel about it. But then you'll start to remember while you're doing this game, well, that feels a little worse. Then I won't do that again. Well, that feels a little worse. Okay, I'm on this. I'm reaching for thoughts about this that feel a little better, that feel a little better, that feel a little better. It only takes 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 segments where you do that before you've shifted enough within yourself that you've accomplished a different point of attraction. We liked your question. What was it? Is there a way to, what was your question? Since we've already answered it, let's pair the question back with it. Is there a way to shift? You didn't say shift.
To very accurately know my emotional state other than feeling. One idea is like an instrument. I was taking this Heart Math Institute class where they have this heart rate variability sensor, which is supposed to perhaps show you even more accurately than you know yourself, your emotional state.
Yeah, but it's
like
extreme. Those things are so extreme that it's really hard. What you want to do is do it incrementally in the moment while it's happening. That's why you're born with this glorious guidance system that lets you know your vibrational variances, and the way you feel is the way. So that's why we say, does this feel a little better or a little worse? Well, that feels a little better. Well, then how about this? Does that feel a little better or a little worse? So let's do it with this. So if you want, give us a scenario of something that somebody said to you, you didn't even try to explain, you don't like it. Let's make this real and let us show you this solution in real time to what you're asking about.
Sure. So someone on a phone conversation recognizing that I didn't text them back in 2 days and demanding to know why I waited 2 days to text them back.
All right. So we can tell how that feels because you use the word demanded. They demanded and you felt demanded upon. So we're going to stand in your shoes and we're going to play this game. That is the thing that you're looking for to move your point of attraction. This jerk is never satisfied. True, but it feels a little worse. I usually answer my emails in a timely manner. I don't know what his problem is. Feels a little worse. I like to be responsible. Feels a little better. I like to communicate. Feels a little better. I'm a good communicator. Feels a little better. I'm good with words. I'm good with text. I'm good at replying. I stay on top of things. feels a little better. This is something that he does all the time, feels a little worse. This doesn't come up very often, feels a little better. I can own up to my part in the cooperative components here. I could focus differently and get different results. Might feel a little worse because you might think that no matter what you do, nothing will change. This person is a control freak, feels a little worse. This person's just doing his job, feels a little better. We're not telling you what's right or wrong in this. We might not even come up with anything authentic that you might say or feel. But we're demonstrating the way, because if you understand that your purpose, this is so good. What we're going to say next, it's so good. Your work in this moment is not to figure out who's right and wrong in this. Your work in this moment is to improve your point of attraction. And the only way you improve your point of attraction is by feeling better. Esther says to her friends frequently, when they're really having a good time about something, when they're basking in the beauty of something or devouring something delicious to eat, it comes up all the time. Can you imagine what we're doing to our point of attraction right now? How good this feels. Can you just imagine what we're doing to letting in all that good stuff that we've been asking for? This is the work, Esther will say. This is the work. I know it looks like messing around to others. I know it looks like decadence to others, but this is the work. Feeling like this is the work. And the game that we're encouraging you to play is the beginning of that work. It's just feels a little better, feels a little better, feels a little better, feels a little better. You play that game a couple of times, it will shock you. That person's personality will change. It will. Not with everyone, but with you. You'll find yourself at the wherever you meet these days. It's not the water cooler anymore, is it? But wherever it is that you meet up these days, discussing with others who have a mutual interaction with that person, and you'll hear them complaining about things that aren't a problem to you anymore. It's like Esther has a friend, and someone said about this friend, Esther's not had personal experience with it, but she heard it from someone reliable, and she liked the way it felt so much, she replays it in her mind often. This friend, when she hears something negative from somebody about somebody, this friend says, oh, that's not been my experience. Oh, I've noticed that. What feels better? Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's not how we click together. We know you're getting what we're talking about, yes?
Yeah. Interesting follow-up. So sometimes I will recognize that to be my truth. Wow, I have a different experience with this person, and I'll state something like that.
My truth, let's say my truth, my point of attraction. My truth, my practiced vibration. My truth, the results of the game feels a little better. My truth, I'm in harmony with my inner being. That's why it feels like my truth. Yeah. Or just wanting to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. We know we are, but
100%.
Yeah.
And I'll know it inside, but there seems to be this interesting experience where when I state it outside, I realized I get more like contrast back from other people than...
You always will. Got to keep your ideas to yourself until they're fully developed, because you're speaking your truth from your bandwidth to people that are not on the same bandwidth. So when you say the words, they're going to focus on the words, calculate the experience, and they're going to tell you what their experience is, which doesn't have anything to do with what your experience is. That's like somebody saying, I get in my car and I turn my dial and I hear this music, and you say, when I get in my car, I hear different music than that. Weird. Seems like there should just be one music playing in all the cars. Yeah.
I loved feeling the resonance of the statement you made a minute ago, and to make sure I'm understanding it or maybe saying it another way, the content of any discussion or interaction with someone is basically irrelevant. It's all like the vibration or the feeling. And I've been playing this game where people will introduce very specifics about like a business or a relationship, and it doesn't feel good, and I'll just completely drop the content and shift into better feeling focuses.
It's not completely irrelevant in this sense. Sometimes it causes you to launch a rocket of clarity. In other words, sometimes it produces a step one moment in you, which is good stuff for later conversation with yourself. There's never a moment in time that isn't of value. Never. No matter how icky and awful it seems. It's like you think, if I could just stop that person from existing, I would. But there is value in all of it. Yeah. Really good.